When it comes to prisoners on death row who are insane, the law is very clear. You cannot execute them. The Supreme Court has ruled it unconstitutional and deemed it cruel and unusual punishment. But can medication make a prisoner sane enough to be executed? That question is being asked in the case of convicted killer Greg Thompson. He was originally found competent to stand trial, but prison doctors have concluded he is mentally ill, and they give him medication every day. Thompson's lawyers argue that he's still insane on the medication, which he was taking the day we met with him.
I had to stab the food.
You had to stab your...
Yeah, especially eggs. They be popping up. Popping up. They hit you in the face. You have to stab it. And you gotta eat quick, real quick.
We met Greg Thompson inside a maximum security prison in Nashville.
Which way?
He's been diagnosed as schizophrenic and psychotic by both prison doctors and those hired by his lawyers. And he's been medicated by the state for most of his 22 years on death row. Thompson receives a daily cocktail of antipsychotic mood-stabilizing pills and injections twice a month. Do you know why you're getting this medication?
Yeah. Okay.
How many pills do you have to take?
I only take 10 a day now.
What happens if you don't take them?
I go Lulu.
Tell me what going Lulu is for you.
In a few days, I would like lose my mind, and it would be trying to explode on me. I got in a fight with the guards a lot of times, you know, trying to kill a few.
Did you kill any of them?
No, but at the time they was turning into insects, and I wanted to
The
kill them.
guards were turning into insects?
Yeah. They were giant insects. They were acting just like guards, but they were aliens. And I had to kill the aliens. They were attacking the world.
A psychologist has been evaluating Thompson for 9 years. He says he sees, hears, and smells things that aren't there, and suffers from extreme paranoid delusions and hallucinations. Years ago, his lawyers didn't raise insanity as a defense. He confessed, was convicted, and sentenced to death for killing this woman, Brenda Lane. She was 28 years old, well-liked in her community, and she'd been married just a few months. The facts of what happened on New Year's Day in 1985 have never been in dispute. Greg Thompson and his girlfriend, a juvenile, wanted to get from Tennessee to Georgia, so they kidnapped Brenda Lane, stole her car, and then drove around for an hour and a half on remote country roads as Thompson searched for a place to kill her. And this is where they stopped. Thompson then stabbed Brenda 4 times in the back and drove off, leaving her to die alone in the cold and the dark.
I thought I had to kill Spot.
Thompson told us he heard voices in his head that night. You thought people were after you? And then, in chilling detail, he described exactly how he killed Brenda Lane.
She got into the front seat, driver's seat, and I had the knife on her outside the back seat. And
You jumped in the car and pulled a knife on her?
yeah. That was already out. There's a butcher knife.
She must have been scared.
Yeah, she was crying.
She was terrified for her life.
I know.
What did you feel?
She knows she's going to die.
Why'd you kill her?
There was no reasoning at that point. We just get away.
Tell me how it happened. Describe
I
it.
turned her around, and she didn't move. And I said that before time. I wanted her to die quickly.
You wanted her to die quickly. Why?
I didn't want her to be in her suffering and pain.
You think if somebody stabs you 4 times in the back, you're not going to suffer?
Not really.
You know she was still alive when you drove away.
I heard her scream.
Thompson managed to escape to Georgia, but was arrested there after setting Brenda Lane's car on fire. Frankie Floyd, an investigator in the case back in Tennessee, says it could have taken months to find the body if Thompson, over the telephone, hadn't given such precise, intricate directions to the place he killed her. What was going through your mind at the time when you were talking to him on the phone?
How calm he was. There was no remorse. There was no passion. It was just a matter of fact. If you take this road, this road, this road, this road.
So exact.
It's like you're telling me how to find a frisbee that you tossed and lost.
So what did that mean to you?
Cold and passionate. Just a cruel person.
That was the picture prosecutors painted of Thompson at his trial, but it wasn't a complete picture. According to Thompson's current lawyers, Dana Chavis and Steve Kissinger, who are appealing his case. They say Thompson had severe mental problems dating back to his childhood, and they're fighting to keep him alive. If he knew what he was doing at the time, and he was competent to be executed at the time that sentence was given, why shouldn't he die for what he did?
I think the evidence points overwhelmingly to the fact that he was insane at the time.
But it was never proved, and it wasn't raised at the trial. He told them exactly what he'd done to stab her 4 times in the back. He even told them where he'd thrown out the murder weapon, so they could find that on the side of the road.
I think the fact that Greg Thompson can remember things does not detract from the fact that at the time of the crime, he was suffering delusions, and he was hearing voices.
Never brought up at the trial.
That's correct. Never brought up at the trial because the trial attorneys did not consult with the proper people that would have seen those clear signs of Greg's psychosis at the time. The clear signs of psychosis that everybody agrees about right now.
3 years ago, a federal appeals court ruled that a lower court should examine evidence that Thompson was mentally ill at the time of the crime. One judge called it powerful mitigating evidence. But then the Supreme Court narrowly overruled the decision, saying it was too late to raise that issue. Barbara Brown, Brenda Lane's only sister, who sat through every day of Thompson's trial, is frustrated by the lengthy legal process.
I don't believe that he was insane at the time he killed her. Now, I don't know. He's been sitting on death row 22 years. Almost anyone might be insane after this period of time. It's just not right that he was given a death sentence and it not carried out.
Brenda Lane is buried on the hillside about a mile from her sister Barbara's house. Every Sunday, Barbara goes back to the same church where she and her sister played piano, sang and prayed together. Barbara thinks the legal system is protecting Greg Thompson and has forgotten her sister.
It destroyed my family, basically. My mother certainly never got over it. And my dad absolutely wanted to see him executed.
Both parents and Brenda's husband have all died since she was killed.
Even my husband has now passed away.
Our hearts go out to the sister, and of course what happened is a terrible tragedy, but the point now is that Greg Thompson is psychotic, that he's delusional, that he does not have a rational understanding of why the state seeks to execute him.
In what could be a last chance appeal, Thompson's lawyers only have to prove he's insane now and doesn't understand what's happening to him, even when he's on medication, as he was during our interview. He appeared most of the time to be delusional.
Well, see, I wrote some songs and some to Hollywood.
Who'd you write them for?
Clark Brooks, Reba McEntire.
You like country?
Yeah, I was born country.
What was the first song you wrote?
Let's see. Dirty dishes in the sink. Dirty dishes in the sink. Lots of time for me to think.
They send you money for these songs?
Yeah, yeah. I've got paid twice, which
How much
I'm
did
waiting
you-
on this time. The last check they sent me was $444,000.
$444,000. What did you do with that money?
I sent it to Brenda Lane's family.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
What if I said to you there was no check?
It's in my name.
What if I said to you though there was no check? It's in your head, not in your name.
No, that was a check. It was in my head. You know.
Are you a con man? Are you acting for me?
No, I'm serious. This is me. This is who I am.
And how can you be sure that Greg Thompson is not just acting up, that he's not just pretending?
For over 20 years, prison doctors have administered very powerful antipsychotic drugs to Greg Thompson. I don't know of any doctor that would prescribe or force that type of medication upon a person unless they believed they were truly psychotic.
And what is the effect of that medication?
It doesn't take away his mental illness. He's always insane. But what it does is that it hides that insanity.
But it doesn't actually make him normal.
Not at all.
But does Thompson understand that taking the medication may make him appear sane enough to be executed?
Well, I made it 12 years ago that if I were to get to that point, I'd rather be normal than insane.
Why is that?
Because it hurts. I'm tired of being mentally ill, you know. So if they want to kill me at the end, then they kill me at the end.
I think I have to forgive him. I am a Christian, and we are to forgive people. It's hard.
But you want him to die for what he did.
Yes, I do. Excuse me.
Thompson's lawyers are going back to federal court this month and hope eventually to get a ruling that Thompson, despite his medication, is mentally incompetent and should not be executed. The Tennessee Attorney General, who declined our request for an interview, is expected to argue that Thompson understands why he's being punished, is not insane, and therefore should be executed. Are you afraid to die?
I'm on drugs right now. But I'm so good. I'm not afraid. When these drugs wear off a little bit, I'll be afraid again.
If you were executed, what do you think would happen to you afterwards? What comes next?
Well, I know this dead can speak.
Who can speak?
The dead.
The dead can speak. You think you would die?
I think it'll be a horrible ending. Because if the dead can speak, that means you got